We know what's gonna happen. Boom, he gets tackled. Stage right. Guys are falling down. It's going down. The gang gets him backstage. Here it is in slow motion. Aggressor gets up out of the crowd and tackles Dave on the platform. Your VIP, your principal, is actually hitting the deck. What do? Boom! What's up? Byron Rodgers, Tactical Protection Review. Learn protection strategies from a protection professional, but this one is about my industry and what I do as a professional protector and executive protection agent, close protection specialist, executive protection specialist. We got a bunch of titles. Some call us bodyguards, but the reality of these types of circumstances and situations is that they happen very quickly. First and foremost, I want to say that I don't want to go into this situation to throw salt or be disrespectful to anyone. I think something like this can happen to anyone, and I keep the mentality when I work that this can happen to me at any given day, any given time. Doesn't matter how good you think you are, this will happen to you if you think it won't and can happen to you. So we're not above these things happening to us out here in the game, in the world and on details. So we do everything we can to mitigate risks like this at every turn. So much respect to the guys who this happened to. You know, I'm not saying we're better than them, but I think we would be remiss, we would be at fault if we didn't do everything we could to try and learn from the situation to help make the industry a better place where things like this happen less frequently. A little background on me: I spent over 7 years on the road with traveling, in this type of format, like a principal that was traveling all the time at venues, on stage, different things like that. I wasn't one of those guys that went on tour. I stayed on tour. There was no tour season. There was all year tour. We hit 60 some countries one year. So this is something I actually have a lot of experience with. And I just want to give my 2 cents on how different things I've done, and we stopped a lot of different situations like this. And our principal was never touched by the grace of God, So real quick introduction. We have principals on platform, and he's doing his thing. He's walking around, and we have our aggressor getting up out of the platform. How can something like this be mitigated, right? One of the things we like to do, and we also service my company, Bravo Research Group, not this one, the League of Executive Protection Specialists, the golden standard of private security training. Come train with us if you're in the EP game or want to get into the game, epspecialist.com. Okay, cool. So how do you mitigate something like this? We've got an aggressor hopping up from the front row. I'm looking at the front row right now, and it looks like it's pretty packed up there. Like maybe even, there may not even be a cordon or a line or a concentric ring of security around this front of the stage. But what we do want to do as often as possible is we want to put agents in here to stop anyone from jumping up into the front of the stage. This is basic venue security stuff, and it looks like maybe there weren't guys there, maybe they just didn't see it. We got humans, so what do? We want to stagger those humans, and we want to set them up with interlocking, we would say in the Marine Corps, interlocking fields of fire, so that we're cross covering, so that if I'm not looking, this guy still catches it. But how do we do that? With agents placed in these positions facing the crowd. Now, maybe that's not good for the optics, but as often as possible, we have the house security or venue security, place agents there. The executive protection agents are standing maybe behind this curtain, maybe behind this backstage area, and maybe there's one back behind this backstage area. We are talking to each other. Hey, if this is where my primary agent is, or maybe over here, he is sitting there literally staring, watching his principal walk around on the platform. And these guys are talking. This agent right here is saying, hey, I got a guy coming up. We actually number each aisle in the auditorium in front of us. I've got a guy coming up aisle 5. Aisle 5, my guy, my agent that's down here on, say, aisle 5 would turn around and hit his usher or hit his venue security guy who's nearby. Venue security guy goes up, jams the threat, talks to the guy. If they are compliant, then sweet, we win. Our principal doesn't even really realize that anything necessarily happened, just looked like a conversation in aisle 5. If he's not compliant, that's when either one of my linebackers down here moves up to jam the threat, or we make a decision to extract the principal from the platform backstage into a safe location, depending on what's going on down here in the crowd. Right now, okay, it looks like because of the optics at some of these venues, they don't allow EP agents, believe it or not, they don't allow EP agents to go down on the floor sometimes because they don't want EP agents and bodyguards, bouncers and things like that in the shots. So sometimes for the visuals, they'll put us in different places. This is just one of the uncomfortable realities of the game as you watch your client out there solo in the fray. Boom, he gets hit. And here looks like the security assets and or entourage members and or friends are at the far ends of this platform. Looks like he may not have even seen it yet. He may not have the angles, like he's blocked by this. But when you're setting something like this up, you got to ask yourself, and this might take a few minutes for me to break down. Look at how far away these guys are coming from. In my opinion, the overall security structure that they're using is placing them at an extreme disadvantage to try to catch anyone who might try to jump up out of the crowd from any of these places at any point in time, while our principal is traversing this entire area up here giving his talk. So you want to make sure you have a plan for that. How do we mitigate that? Put agents in places, and as you can see over here, there's more space. There's always a place and always a space on the platform to boom. Now in the private security industry, they may have suggested all this. And sometimes principals and clients are like, no, I don't want to spend that much money on security because nothing happens because you guys do your job. And when you guys do your job, nothing happens. And it makes me think I don't want security. Clients do that all. It makes me think I don't need security because nothing's happened, which is happening because we've been doing our job. Happens all the time. And they're like, no, we're only going to give you one guy or two guys for this huge event. We obviously can't control anything. We're going to expect you to do it. Sometimes that happens, and guess what we do? We win anyway, right? So boom, 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 This guy even is able to stand here. So, they had kind of some of these dynamics here, and these guys are able to jam down and stop a runner from any of these positions, which makes it a lot easier to get out here. There may even be a door back here somewhere that or a curtain back here that you can sit there and peer through and watch your principal and the event looking for that to come up, boom, and make that hit and jam that guy in the softest and most professional way possible, using the minimum amount of force to stop the situation, because you've got to remember the optics of your principal's brand. But what we're seeing here is a lot of agents running back stage after the fact. You do not want to be reactionary in a situation like this. Where did they all come from? Every single one of them came from side stage. Looks like we may not have even really had anyone down there in the pit. And that, I think, is what made them extremely vulnerable to this attack. I also chose this video here because it gives you a good look at the actual auditorium. So what I'm generally trying to do is place agents here, or in many different houses of worship, place one agent here. These agents are all looking out into the crowd, okay? You can even get away with pretty decent coverage if you can get one agent on that platform who can see the entire crowd, because he can talk to his guys down here and he can say, hey, I've got a guy, like I was saying, coming up aisle 5. If you have aisles at the auditorium, you're working. But having that internal and external cordon is extremely important, because then with these guys facing this way, sending communication to these gentlemen out here, you can easily cover these things. And also, if you can put one more ring here, you may not need as many guys, but you can throw agents back here. And if there is a problem in the front here, right, this agent can jam and hand him off to this agent, and they can go on ahead and take him out the back of the house. Just a few little executive protection training day field note tips. Come and train with us at the League of Executive Protection Specialists. We have helped hundreds of agents achieve the careers they want in this industry. Much respect to the guys who are on that detail. I'm not talking down. I'm not talking any kind of crap. I just want to see if I just want to contribute something that I believe we can all learn from to help make our industry a better place. This is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade. Join me at executiveprotectionspecialist.com. Take your skills to the next level. I'll see you out there in the field, in the industry, or on the next free piece of content. Out. Boom.